All right, we wrap with Royce 3 days a week here on Mackie and Judd. You can find Royce Unchained, the long form podcast, on Mondays. We put almost 80,000 people inside Target Field to watch a couple of Brewers and Brewers fans are very upset about the rain delays the first night. Just think it's ridiculous that we don't have a roof on Target Field, but get over it.
But hey, the Western Wisconsin folks, we got to be very happy about it. They had to buy 10,000 tickets a game, right? Did they? I mean, there was a huge number of Brewers fans there. That's great. And you know what? We're always saying, why don't they have these teams play on weekends? Tuesday, Wednesday, those are pretty good crowds. You get the good weather. As long as you're not playing them in May, play them in the middle of the summer, then people will just take a couple of days off and come on over. So it had to be great for downtown to have that many people roaming around from Western Wisconsin and buying tickets to see their Brewers. You go back to the CC Sabathia trade, it is amazing how that town has supported baseball. They were kind of iffy with the new stadium and everything, but they're great. They pack them in, man. It's at home and the roof, it's a good idea for them, that's for sure, and it's also a good idea for the Brewers because they get all that parking money out there in the countryside and the big tailgating and the whole thing. So it's turned into a pretty damn good franchise.
That was a fun game. Miranda, Patrick. I don't know what is it, the last month and a half or so. After I think we both criticized his abilities at the plate at the time, has looked really, really good.
Yeah, I think he's now. I saw Correa say that he was swinging at everything, but I thought he was swinging at nothing was his big problem. He was taking that first pitch fastball down the pipe, getting behind, and then he started swinging at everything. The breaking ball away. Go back and look at his check swings from the first, 6 weeks he was up, and now you don't see that. He's more certain about himself. But let me say this. If you don't hit that pitch hater through you, you are never going to get a hit in the big leagues in the rest of your life, because that was the hanger of hangers from a left-handed superstar. He did with it what you're supposed to do, but you better not miss that pitch because you're not going to see another one. You can face that guy 20 times the rest of your career. You'll never see that pitch again. That was hit me.
Yeah.
Which is the secret of success. You got to hit the mistakes, and he did that. He can hit, which makes it really, really curious. Once about 15 days from now, when Miguel's rehab assignment is now, I don't know if the Florida part probably didn't count, right? Because that's the complex league. So maybe the clock on the 20 days just started on Tuesday in St. Paul. Maybe that low minor league might not have been part of his rehab. But it's going to be very curious what they're going to do with him. That's for sure.
Well, it would actually, what you just said makes a ton of sense if they timed it this way. If his clock didn't start on the rehab until earlier this week, then it would end around the trade deadline, which would give them, either with Sano or whoever else they would move, just a little bit more flexibility to make a move in the next 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. But I'm not clearing a starting spot for him at this point.
No, it's just a really interesting situation. Now, last night, I looked at the box score. I saw him the other night. He got a walk on a 3-2 pitch. He didn't chase it, and then he hit a double into right center on an 0-1 count. Last night he struck out his first 2 times up in AAA, and then I think he went 0 for 3 or 4. But then again, who cares? Our All-Star's hitting 208, so who cares? I mean, he's the All-Stars striking. The All-Stars on a schedule. He's not playing full time, but he's been playing close to full time lately. But if we can get him in 125 games, he'll strike out 150 times. So what the hell? He's filled the Miguel slot here, Buxton, hasn't he? He's,
offensively, he pretty much has. Yeah.
What is going on? How can that be true? How can he be hitting 2?
Well, I think he wants to hit home runs.
Huh?
He wants to hit home runs.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah,
hey, I saw a stat yesterday. Barry Bonds in 2001, 47% of his hits were home runs. Byron Buxton in 2022, 43%.
Yes. Would you like to check out Barry Bonds' on base percentage?
Yeah.
As opposed, his on base percentages
Oh my God.
was probably 460, I would guess.
Actually, I think it was 600. Let's look this up real quick. What year was
Intentionally
this,
walked.
Declan?
Right. 2001.
Okay, hold on.
Now he
Intentionally
had
walked with the bases
He
loaded.
had the advantage that an umpire would not call a strike on him unless it was in this little size of a microwave oven. Count.
Okay, Barry Bonds on base percentages starting at age 36 in 2001 when he hit the 73 home runs in 2001. He had a 515 on base percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next year a 582 on base percentage. Then 529, and then in 2004 he had a 609 on base percentage. 609.
Well, that they obviously didn't feel as though they had to worry about anybody else in that lineup, so they just walked him, right?
Barry Bonds' stats are the most hilarious, of anyone in the history of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2004, Barry Bonds. Now, mind you, let me look this up real quick. Byron Buxton. I don't know that he's walked 100 times in his career. So Byron Buxton, career just total walks, 127. He has 127 career walks. Barry Bonds in 2004 had 120 intentional walks.
What was the total at, like 250 or something?
He walked 232 times in 2004.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't think that's a good comparison to make for your argument there, Declan. Yeah, you're going to have to go to another well for that one. But
Yeah.
hey, they needed to win that game after leaving 13 guys on base and having two more out there. And Hader, you know what's interesting about that game yesterday afternoon? When you got CB behind the plate, we can all guess right along with him, right? As to what
God,
it might
awful.
be.
Yeah.
Same pitch right here. Okay, it's a little low in the zone. Strike. Next pitch, a little better. Ball.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. He's brutal. He's authoritative. I mean, he's committed to his call, but the same pitches are not called the same thing. It's especially the low pitch. He's absolutely guessing on.
We need some kind of a chart. We need someone to put together I don't know what you would call it, but like a chart that shows how wrong you are as an umpire and how authoritative you are as an umpire.
Yes. Well, I think the pitch before Hader gave him the hateful stare on the pitch before the home run, right? Because that got to count to 2-0, and it looked like he hit the bottom back part of the zone, and it made it instead of a 1-1 count, it made it 2-0. And then, but why do you flip up the slider? I don't get it. I don't get, I guess you do, because he usually throws it and it's down and it's descending below your knees. But how about bringing old Yo on in and getting the first guy out and then saying, let's flip him up a little breaking pitch here and let him hit this one and another. And they hit the double right off. It drives me nuts.
But that's been the trend.
I know.
We've talked about it for 2 weeks now, and it doesn't make any sense.
No, let him make them show you they can hit his fastball. And if they do, okay, then don't start experimenting until you. I got to admit, I've made up my mind. I don't like the new pitching coach. Let's get rid of him.
Oh, it's been a week.
We've given him enough time.
He never looks happy.
He's just done.
He looks miserable. He looks like he's just miserable. Pete Mackey looks like he ain't having any fun. Wes Johnson, bundle of little energy.
Yes, he'd run out there.
Sprints out there. He'd pat people on the butt. Mackey looks miserable.
I think he's got him throwing more breaking balls than they've ever thrown. So, anyway, Mighty Whitey's coming to town now, 4, and Johnny Cueto tonight. It's the Twins win half of these. They're in pretty good shape, right? 2-2. You got to go 2-2 against the Whiteys, and then you keep 5 back and have a nice weekend series. It'll be interesting this next 4 days because they're not playing the Brewers. If the attendance goes back to 28,000 instead of 38,000 with the Whiteys.
Yeah. Oh, it will. Don't worry.
They're not drawing they're not drawing 40,000 Twins fans to these games.
No.
Pat,
I could see some other, like White Sox fans could travel a little bit. Sorry, Dax,
I'd
go
actually
ahead.
sit in my exact seats on Tuesday for only the second time since opening day because my entire section was packed. There wasn't an open seat, where every other game this year for my season ticket plans, I'll move down literally 15
Were
rows.
were the other people in your row all wearing cargo shorts, sandals, and Jeff Jenkins jerseys?
Yeah. My God, a lot of Corey
Did they smell
Hart
like
jerseys.
cheese?
Yeah, I saw
Brewers
some Corey
fans
Hart
spend
jerseys.
money, boys.
Yes, they
God
do.
bless them. They buy that expensive beer like it's going out of style.
Oh yeah.
Wow, really? What are we getting for a craft beer these days?
About 13, 14.
13, 14.
That's amazing. Totally worth it too, by the way.
Yeah.
I quit drinking when the Schlitz. I could get a Schlitz for 45 cents. I don't think you can do that anymore, right?
No.
Schlitz for
Can't,
45 cents.
can't do that anymore.
That's appropriately
But,
priced, by the way.
Hey, yeah, I got to give it. Miranda, he still drives me crazy when they try to play him at first base, but he can hit. That there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, what is my question to you is going to be? So this guy at age 23 in the minors last year, that was his big breakout, right?
Yeah, right.
He hit 340 and a bunch of home runs. He had 62 extra base hits in 120 games. So what is he? Is he a middle of the lineup guy? I mean, are we seeing the blossoming of a staple in this lineup?
Well, the thing about this lineup is you got Rise and you got Polanco and you put them up at top and then the rest of it is throwing darts, right? I mean, you never know where they're going to bat him. I think against a lefty, you can bat him fifth or sixth, don't you? Maybe against a right-hander, not quite as much. I'll tell you this story, though. I've told it before. Billy Milas is a friend of mine, scout from Chicago. Twins relied on him a lot. They kind of got him being as their independent league guy now. He goes around and scrounges up the Randy Dobniks of the world and guys like that. But I was watching BP with him in Florida on a backfield, and Jim Essien was there next to him because Jim Essien runs that league in Detroit, that one, the former catcher. And Miranda came to the plate. Now, he wasn't quite as thick as he is now, but Miranda came up and he said, this is 19 maybe. And Milos says, this kid can hit. This kid could really hit. And so we watched him and he did something. And then he had a couple of bad years. And I asked Billy a couple of times. I said, what the hell? And he said, he can hit. He said, he can run. And you think, Jose Miranda, he's got to run, right? He got to be able to run. Guy, and he's not an athlete. He's a big kid, and he's a mediocre, a below mediocre third baseman and a completely lost first baseman. Although I was talking to Sean Aronson over in St. Paul on Tuesday night. They never played him at first base last year in St. Paul. When you're looking for a position for a guy, they just played him at third all the time. They tried him in left field, and he damn near killed himself. So they just played him at third base. And if you got a corner infielder who's not going to be an everyday third, you can look at it as a third baseman. He's not great. You got to put him over at first some, don't you? I mean, that's not good preparation. But he's here to stay. So it's either Kyle Garlick or they get rid of Miguel, right?
Yeah.
And Kyle Garlick's got 1,000 OPS against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
where does Sano play and how much? Like DH, you can DH sometimes.
You can play him at first,
But I got Kirilloff there, Arise there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to play him at first.
No, but Miranda still gets over there some too, and Miguel's better at first than Miranda is because he knows when a ball's hit, he knows where he's supposed to run and stuff like that. But I think they probably want to have him have a good 10 days in St. Paul and hope somebody will give him a Class A pitcher, huh? That's
Man,
we might see in 4 years.
Or do you bring him up? Maybe somebody gets put on the injured list between.
Well, that can happen. I mean, you never know who's going to get hurt. But you're not the buyout. The salary for next year is $14 million. So there's zero chance.
No.
So they're gonna pay the buyout. So everybody would be better off if they could move him, including him, right? Isn't there some bad team that if you pay next year's buyout, if you pay the 2.75, promise to pay that, and most of his salary for the rest of the year, isn't there some bad team will give him Oakland or somebody will give him 200 at bats and see what happens?
Yeah. Well, who are the most
third line pitcher?
Well, there's actually, I was going to say, who are the most power desperate teams in baseball? Well, two of them are in your division. The two lowest home run hitting teams are the Tigers and the Guardians. So you're probably not going to want to send him to one of those teams in case he does get hot.
And the other thing is Cleveland has him. Franmil Reyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
So
same guy. Just different names.
He actually seems like a perfect Oakland Days or Tampa Bay Rays player, right? Just
Tampa.
tap into that one skill set, sit him against some of the hard throwing righties, and
I don't understand how Tampa can shuffle players like they do, because it always seems like they got a 19-player roster. You watch them, okay, what the hell is this? By the way, they're missing their shortstop for 2 months. That's going to hurt them. The kid, Franco.
Wander Franco. He came back and got hurt.
That's too bad. But what's amazing is what about 2 weeks ago we were conceding all 3 wild card spots to the American League East. Now your M's, they won again, right? What, 9 in a row, Phil?
Yeah, they're on fire.
9 in a row. They're in it, and the Orioles is the other team. They're in it, and Toronto fired the manager, so they're falling like crazy. And it's not as cut and dried as we thought it was. As far as the American League is concerned.
Yeah, it's a long season, as they say.
All
right, Patrick. Well, anything we talk about with the Open is going to be outdated by the time people listen to this podcast. But I will say Tiger Woods has found a way to be 11 shots off the lead within 3 holes of playing.
Did he bogey 3 too?
He bogeyed 3. He's plus 3, and Cam Young is the leader at -8 right now.
He
So
was
nice
out
start
in
for
front
Tiger.
of that. You can't even call these things at St. Andrews a pond. It's like a ditch. It's got a ditch in front of the first green, but nobody ever hits it in there unless they hit it too far and it rolls in there. Well, he hit a semi-chunky and topped it in there, and he starts right off with a 6. And they had some stat on the broadcast, right? I was listening, that Ernie Els is the last guy to win at St. Andrews. I thought, did he? No. It's been the last 5 Opens at St. Andrews since somebody won it when they made a double bogey at any point.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. It's
not a good sign to double bogey the first hole then.
Okay. No, it's not. If you're out of it with 71 holes to go. I saw him, the one I covered at Muirfield, he was, the best player in the world by 100 miles. And he was going to win his 4th straight, I think. And then he got caught out in this storm on a Friday afternoon and shot 81, when that was good because it was just this driving rain and the wind was, they were on a 190-yard par 3 hitting drivers into the wind.
That's right.
Get there. And he got caught out there, and supposedly the weather's going to turn lousy here. So it's just amazing. You're sitting there, and this was a different course. This is Muirfield, but it's on the same Firth, the 4th that's on the other side. But you're sitting there. It's a sunny day. It's beautiful. You look out, and the cloud from hell is like 20 miles away, and you see it coming over there, and all of a sudden, everybody's running, and they keep playing. They don't care what they.
No, there's no rain delays in the Open.
No, because the ground is so damn hard anyway. The water doesn't soak anything up. It just beats it down in there. So yeah, always a fun weekend though, watching the Open. That's for sure.
It is. I got to see the first guys tee off when I went to bed last night. Great, well, West Coast Open Championship action. That's true. It's great.
That's true. Hey, congratulations to our Aurora. They won again.
5,000 people in attendance. Nice little atmosphere, they're saying.
I hear it's much like the Kicks games. Everybody's out there drunk underneath their cars, out in the tailgate areas, just all kinds of hijinks going on. It's quite a debacle, I understand.
Love it. All right, Pat, we will talk to you tomorrow, sir.
All right, Joe.
All right, rapping with Royce here on Mackey and Judd and the SKOR North YouTube channel.